I'm Joe Williams from Throne Lacrosse, and today I am at Universal Lacrosse in Somerville, New Jersey. Today we're going to be delivering the new fiber mesh and kind of talking it through and letting you guys know kind of its key features and what to look out for it. So fiber is actually a lacrosse stringing system. It has each part has been designed to work together into a system, so there's no shortcomings when it comes to the string or the mesh. One or the other being, more abrasive resistance and eventually wearing out that other one, because there's nothing worse than getting a stick finally dialed in and then a sidewheel goes on you or the mesh rips on you. And we kind of saw this as a big problem with other types of performance meshes, and we wanted to make sure that from the ground up it was built to be proof to the elements, but also to just how the game is played. We did this by using literally a new fiber to lacrosse stringing material. So each part of the system, from the sidewall to the mesh itself to the shooters and to the shooter core, the actual nylon, are all made from the same exact material, which gives them the same abrasion resistance, so they all work together. As for the system itself, we'll start out with part one, which is the mesh. This is where we kind of started from the ground up. When we decided that we were going to try and make something that was built in the performance market, we knew we had to kind of start from scratch and truly make something different, and we ended up succeeding at it. And really proud of what we did. The main base for the mesh was to make it as durable and as light as possible. So it actually comes in sub 24 grams, making it one of the lightest meshes in the world. And also what we made it from, this new fiber, has a lot more abrasion resistance than the current kind of leading people in that market. So we wanted to kind of build the two things together, light and being strong at the same time, and then building it into kind of a weave that really gripped the ball, especially under the new kind of NCAA regulations that are coming down to high school with that 4-inch rule. Finding a way to give the mesh extra grip without really having a heavy coating on it, making it still light and strong, were definitely the key features. In part two, we have the strings. We probably had the most fun with this just because of the colors involved. We could really see kind of the things that we dyed as a single fiber come to an actual shape. But the biggest thing about it is actually the core. So most strings out there, the core is a secondary, cheaper material just to kind of bulk it up. And what the issue is, you have two materials fighting against each other. So when you're tying a knot or when you're working with it, it'll start to buckle in weird ways, or the inside core will pop out, and usually the inside isn't as strong as the outside. We decided to make the entire string out of the same new material that the mesh is made out of, which allows us to have a stronger string, but also it allowed us to lay the material inside flat instead of spinning it. And what this does is it still gives you that nice stiff string, but makes it more malleable. It's what we're calling a flat core. So on the inside, instead of it being spun to be stiff, it's actually the outside is the stiff part of the string, allowing you to tie tighter knots, and it doesn't rip up your hands as much as kind of the standard string out there. The third part of the fiber system is the shooters. This is actually made up of two different pieces. We'll start the first with the actual shooter lace. Probably one of my favorite things in this entire system. We actually went out and created a new one that's even tighter on the weave, and it lays even flatter. As you guys see, a lot of the 6-weave string, the shooters are just absolutely perfect going across the top, and that's because we engineered a shooter literally for the diamond size of our mesh, so there's no buckling, and it just gives you that perfect kind of finishing look to it. Again, made of the same fiber as the rest of the kit, so it's all going to work together, and they're a really nice consistency between kind of a really soft cotton one and a little bit harder kind of dyed polyester one. They're just perfect. And then we also made them a little bit longer, so you can still do use if you want to, but nonetheless they're pretty perfect. And then what seems to be getting the most amount of attention besides the mesh is actually the shooter cord, which we put gold tips on to kind of go with the gold standard theme, to give you guys a little bit more flair in your stick, and for people to know that it's strung up with the fiber system. Again, it's I believe a 3.5 mil is what we decided on for the thickness of, or the diameter of that shooter, which is pretty perfect. Again, made of all the same material, all going to work together and gives you that nice little snap and really helps you kind of adjust where the release point is in your stick.